Hello, everybody. This is Racquel Palmisi. I'd like to welcome you to Wisdom Wednesday. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. This has been a day of extreme energetics in my world. It's been a day of feeling waves of energy coming in, of feeling the incredible honor and privilege that has evolved in my life after many, many years to be in touch with Spirit, to be a recipient and not just a willing recipient, but an ecstatic recipient of whatever it is that is trying to embody and embed and root and grow on this planet. Along the way, I've discovered many, many aspects of Spirit and the work that I got started doing with my beloved teacher, Charles McCall, way over 2 decades ago, is evolving now in such a major way. I think the reason that it is evolving like this is because it has never operated under a set of rules or hierarchies. It has never been an organization. There has never been a ladder to climb of levels to aspire to. There's no teacher training, although I did wish for that for a long time. I realized that my training had to do with doing my own work and evolving myself. And as I evolved myself, I became able to hold other people in a field of energy that grew in power and in depth and in challenge. And it began to attract the type of person who is often destined for spiritual leadership themselves. Often they don't have a clue about that. Somebody this morning that I was working with asked me for some bullet points about my work, about this work. What are the things that you have to consider on a path such as this, because this is a deep path. It's a path with no end to it. This is not a path where I'm trying to fix you. This is a path where, as I've said before, I think on these Wednesdays, this is a path where simply you embrace the tools to have your own healing journey and take it as far as you're meant to, as far as you have the desire to. But as he was holding this beautiful field of energy for me to speak, and his heart was so beautifully open to receive what wanted to come through for him, I realized that what happens with this work and people that find me, that show up in my orbit, that make contact with me, are generally people that feel a certain sense of loneliness, almost a homesickness. They feel a calling towards something bigger than themselves. And a lot of times this calling is sort of disguised in insurmountable sort of pain that they're carrying. They have a lot of emotional pain. They feel stuck, or they feel like, I got to work on this thing. I've been trying to work on something for years and years and years, and it won't move, and I'm still afraid, and I'm still can't get along with my relationships, and I still feel very negative about myself. And sometimes that's where we start. And then we realize that that blocked energy is actually standing in the way of what we're really looking for. we realize we have to get this old emotional and life pain out of the way before we can actually get unstuck. We'll never think our way through most of the problems that we have, or most of the misalignments that we suffer in this life. The blindness, the feeling of fogginess or confusion or pent up emotional angers or sadness, grief. So when people finally realize that these stand in front of what their hearts truly desire, which generally is to know love, is to know God, to feel a connection, to know who they are in a spiritual sense, to know what their life is actually about. They feel this pull, this calling, and sometimes they are seekers. They've gone through many iterations of work with many teachers, or they've read like hundreds of books and they keep looking and looking for the way. All this speaks of a heart's desire to know God. And once that deep desire is recognized and uncovered, our hearts begin to feel empowered to go on this very deep, very kind of unknown path towards spiritual, physical, and emotional healing. And there's many levels of all this, for each person has a very unique journey in this. My work is completely different with everyone that I work with. There is no formulas here, no guidebook for me to read to help interpret what I'm witnessing. There's only the word of the person's own spirit self, their own spiritual self, that is talking, that wants to communicate with the person I'm with. And my job pretty much is to be a translator for that person and their own spirit self until they can go direct and communicate and embody their own spirit. And that is something that we have talked about on other Wisdom Wednesdays, is the embodiment of the spirit self. But before that can happen, for real, the human being, feeling sometimes very strung up by all the stuff that they're holding and feeling, and the strangulation that life can offer, from all the seeking and searching and trying to feel better. Basically, people want to feel better. That's not my job to make you feel better. Sometimes I make you feel worse because we have to look at these places where we've suffered emotional damage, and we have to find ways to release through the emotional body, through our tears and through our screams and through our shaking and through our moving the energy out of our physical bodies, to allow the emotions the chance to actually breathe, actually know that the emotions are the healers themselves when they get to release what they're holding. All this energy that's repressed in the body, in the mind, start to relax and release. So there's many ways to activate emotional healing, and I've worked with some amazing other people that facilitate that as well. I do it my way. Others do it in their way. And what's beautiful is that the work is blossoming out where chiropractors or specialists with music or breath work are able to take the work and the integrity of the work out into their own areas of expertise and gifts. I call it gifts more than expertise because it's not learned from books much. So it's evolving. It's evolving as we are evolving. As the very concept of God is evolving. And I know I've been asked to speak about this today. I know when I speak of the meaning of God here, it might offend some people. But I have a feeling that if you're listening to me, that you're really hungry for these words. And thank you, by the way, for everybody who's on here with me on Instagram and Facebook. I love you and appreciate you and thank you. But the concept of God, our desire to know that force that has been taught to us as being some being that has written a script for our lives and knows what's going to happen to us next. And we pray to this being to try to make things happen in our life. We have invented a being. And it has limited our evolvement spiritually. Because it's not about unbelieving in an organizing force in the universe. There has to be. Even Albert Einstein said that. There has to be an organizing force in the universe. It's too perfect. It can't be random. But God as a concept means that we have to construct God according to an image that we understand. So that image given to us in many of our religions is of a being that we are made in the image of. But as the concept of spirituality, as the practice of spirituality, as our longing to know Spirit has grown, we also need to evolve how we see God. So I'm taking a breath here. I hope you take a breath with me, because this is very important for us all. There's an evolutionary step that must be taken in our relationship to all that is spiritual. And it has actually devolved as generations go by. And a lot of people think of spirituality as energy work. I do spiritual work, I do energy work. I fix people energetically, I'm a spiritualist. But that's spirituality without spirit. We can't throw away the most important and vital connection that we as humans have to the creative force in the universe, that which created creation. And what is that? How can we, with these little minds, possibly grasp something so enormous? Unless we make a picture of it with a beard. How can we open our hearts to embrace something ephemeral, something much bigger then we know. So come with me on this journey for a minute. Would you take a breath and feel your heart opening to something bigger than yourself that you are connected to? You have always been. You have always been. It has always been with you. At a soul level, this force created consciousness, created you as a consciousness living in a human body, as a being. You are a created being. Feel it with me. Allow yourself to expand and reach out in this moment. Meet that creative force that created you. Feel it meeting you. It is a beautiful energy, intelligence, and ultimate intelligence that will come into your field with you, that will enliven you, that will give you sight and insight, voice and words, expression. And it is up to us to not back off and hide and stay in, oh, I wonder what that's all about. I'd like to know, somebody tell me. But rather to open and meet it. As I said in my workshop last night, meet it belly to belly. Feel yourself opening. And allow that beautiful angel, that source of light energy, that God, to meet you, to touch you, to feel each other as one. Allow yourself to know that you are a being connected to an incredibly awesome force of creation. Our desire, we have an innate desire, we're born with it. I've never met anyone who hasn't. Even the most cynical and sad and mean person wishes to know love at some level, wishes to know the divine. There's no one who doesn't feel that desire in you. Is like a sonar beeping, looking for a return signal. That's what my teacher used to say all the time. Waiting for a return beep from that ephemeral source of love. And you can feel, if you listen really carefully with the strongest of desires in your heart, you will hear that signal coming back to you. It may be distant and faint. It may be right there, trying to get your attention. trying to say, stop seeking and be and know that I am and know that you are right now, right here, part of the creative force that is evolving. So as we step onto a path such as this, as we recognize that clearing the debris field of old emotional damage is what needs to happen before we can actually open to the love that we are seeking and the love that we're seeking to become, that indeed we have to become now. It's crucial. We need to evolve, and I think everyone knows it. We can't stay stuck. As we face into this healing that needs to happen, one of the main things that needs to happen with it is a little word called integrity. Integrity means being integral. It means being willing to live according to truth. It means being integral in all that is of moral value in the world and in the universe. An integral being is a being that is present. When you're with such a being, you feel their personal integrity. You feel their desire to meet the challenges that they face, to not hide any of it, to be forthright. When you're in their presence, you feel yourself seen. You feel yourself known and listened to and respected, honored, even if there are disagreements in your ideas or politics or whatever. An integral person is a person who is engaged, is part of all that they are and all that they experience. Good, bad, hard, soft, fun, mundane. Everything about them says yes. They bring their life into integrity in every way that they possibly can, and no one is perfect about this. Everybody's got some areas where the checklist isn't checked. But for the most part, they aim, and more as they go through life, to make sure that they're living clean, that they're not making excuses for themselves. They're not rationalizing being less than, or shutting someone else down, or being in judgment of others. When you're with a person of integrity, you know it. You feel their desire to live in truth, no matter what the cost. And they will always find a way to make it work. Because when a being is in integrity, when they are integral to life, they are enmeshed in life. That is their yes to creation. That is their yes. And in that yes, that is what's heard by all the spirit realms that respond to human life. by what we call God. That yes, that desire to know love, and to be integral to this life, that is what speaks to the universe. And that's when the universe responds back to us. Not always by, opening doors to wealth and riches and all that, but to lay the universe at our feet, to open streams of intelligence, to have conversation through writing, through music, to give us enhanced sight, vision, integrity is a gateway. So for everybody that is listening or watching this right now, or in the future, at some date, maybe after I'm long gone from this plane of existence, ask yourself, what in my life needs to be brought into integrity? What in my life is out of integrity? Where am I not integral with life? Where am I hiding? What am I hiding? What am I rationalizing? What is blocking my evolvement? Because it's stuck in here, and I'm not willing to do the work of coming into integrity with all that I am. Ask yourself, what part of me am I not willing to share? How much of me do I allow to be engaged in my life? Or how much do I limit my expression? How much am I willing to let go and have my public face be the face of my heart as well? To not be hanging a persona over me so that I'm always acting, trying to be something I'm not. How integral am I? And all of us need from time to time facilitation to work on these aspects of ourselves. They're very deep, sometimes very old, and we don't see them. So if you're searching for someone to help you facilitate, someone to facilitate your evolvement like this, make sure it's not someone who's trying to fix you or make you happy. Find someone, please, who will ask you to bring your life, your relationships, the way you live, the way you love, your relationships with God, with the earth. My God, with the earth, yes. With the material world itself. Find that person that will help you face you with first bringing it into integrity so that you become integral to the creative force of evolvement on this planet and beyond. for those of you who are not afraid of taking such a journey, even if you doubt that you can do it. You are the ones who are truly called to hold a great energy here on the planet. You are the I am. And you know it. And you've been feeling it ever since you can possibly remember. Follow that dream and that desire. Thank you. Thank you very much. Happy Wisdom Wednesday, and I will see you next week. I love you.